I've been on Misha's program for almost 3 months now. Misha came to my notice because of his appearance on different Facebook groups about breathing, which has been of my interest for years. And his vision and clear explanations fascinated me. I asked him via mail when the 50-week program would be available, because up till then it was only in Russian. I had to wait for a year, but last April I could finally start. Personally, I've had bowel problems for as long as I can remember. It sounds crazy, but those are gone already after 3 months. I still got a lot to learn. I've got a lot to do in the coming months. I better say I have a lot to accept and to connect. It's really a learning process, learning a lot about health and learning a lot about process.
My state of health was not healthy, but not unhealthy. I was sort of somewhere in the middle, where I just didn't feel a whole lot of energy. I felt a lot of times during my day where I just felt very flat, very tired, and, just kind of half dead all of the time, just not feeling that great. Yeah, I'd say. And I had a lot of symptoms. I had some kind of, I think it's an autoimmune problem, because I had this scaling, these little scales that would form on my scalp. And it was getting pretty bad, actually. I had a little bit of scaly formation on my face right here. And yeah, mainly it was an energy thing, kind of just low energy and not a lot of, especially mental energy and mental clarity.
I'm Simon. I'm 4th month in the program. I'm on the 5th year fighting with cancer, brain tumor, grade 3 of astrocytoma anaplasticum.
My name is Arend Hoiting, and I've been a Buteco specialist since 2010. In 2007, I suffered from an extremely high blood pressure, 250 over 150, which was almost very fatal. And moreover, I suffered from blocked arteries on my heart. Both diseases were normalized by the Buteco breathing method.
Hi, I've been on Misha's program now, metabolic health, energy and personal development for about 3 months. Originally, about 21 years ago, I came down with chronic fatigue, and there weren't really any medical ways to help you. It was barely recognised at the time. It was yuppie flu, and often the doctors would say, you've got it for life, you don't get better from this. But I discovered Buteco breathing, and that helped me a lot. It helped me regain some control, some energy, and it was really good for the anxiety associated with having a very debilitating condition that you didn't know whether you were going to get better from.
I started the SHIP program with Misha Sakharov 4 months ago. The reason was that back in 2017 I caught a pneumonia that I didn't get well from. So in April-May 2018, I got the diagnosis post-viral chronic fatigue. One of those diagnoses where there's no proven cure or treatment. And there's also a lot of disagreement about how to approach it. It's basically a mess. So I decided to take the matter into my own hands and started trying a whole series of alternative treatments that were more or less proven or clinically indicated that could work. And as part of that process, I tried everything from functional medicine to more mind-directed approaches to carnivore diets. I tried Buteco with positive results, but the results leveled off after a short while, and I didn't get back into any kind of health.
Hello, I'm Oliver from Germany. After beginning practicing as a lawyer, first in Berlin, then in Hamburg, I experienced that I needed a lot of energy, and long working hours, I got sometimes very exhausted. So I wanted to gain energy back, and also I wanted more energy, not only on the physical level, but also on the mental level.
It's been more than I expected. Misha is indeed very knowledgeable, not just about breathing, but he really connects the dots. It's breathing, it's nutrition, it's movement, it's mental training, and lots of process and acceptance of the process. The process is long and it's slow.
So I had become aware of Misha's work through a Buteyko Facebook group that I was a part of, because I have studied the Buteyko method in the past, and I saw some posts that he made about his work with people with advanced brain cancer, and I was extremely impressed by what I saw. I actually saw scans where people were getting better. They were slowing down and reversing their cancer, their tumors, and I saw, what really impressed me was the spreadsheet he showed of their numbers, where he measured a whole bunch of different health metrics like controlled pause and ketone level and some other things. It just seemed very comprehensive, and it seemed like if I'm going to actually succeed at this, that's what I need to be doing. I need to take it to a very serious level. So eventually, at some point in my life, I decided, okay, if I don't take this seriously, it's just never going to happen. I have to, and me on my own, it wasn't going to happen, just me coaching myself. So I knew that I needed to find someone who would help bring me to the next level. And it just seemed like Misha was the guy because of what I had seen. So that's why I decided to ultimately sign up.
I joined the program because I want to do more for my health, to do more than traditional chemo and radio, which I took the last year. So I wanted to do everything possible, and that's how I found Misha.
In January last year, I came in contact with Misha Sakharov, and from the very first moment, I was fascinated by his metabolic health program. Both his integrative program and the Buteyko breathing program stimulates the self-healing abilities of the body. The striking contrast to the usual medical intervention with cancer patients, such as medication, chemo, radiation, is his non-pharmacological and integrative approach. In our course, for among others, a Buteyko specialist worldwide, he pays much attention to his integrative approach.
And in the Buteyko, yes, I became a Buteyko practitioner about 10 years ago. And in that community, the Buteyko community, I met Misha. And I've been keeping an eye on what he's been doing, because he's been doing some very interesting things, especially when you look at the oncology world, where he's had some fantastic success with people with the worst sort of tumours, glioblastoma, where they're given, maybe 3 to 6 months to live. So really life-threatening, life-limiting diseases, whereas I think my problems are more quality of life destroying rather than, I'm unlikely to die from it.
Or I found Misha because I Googled chronic fatigue and Buteyko, and his site popped up. At that point, he didn't have a program where it was possible to work with him. So I was aware of his results and inspired by them, and tried some of the elements that I could could read on the site without staying with it long enough and connecting the dots sufficiently to getting the results I wanted. So once it was possible to register, it was no question for me. I wanted to work with this guy. I had heard all the rumors about how he helped people recover from inoperable cancers, and I had also worked with some of his potato colleagues that couldn't speak highly enough about him and his results. Starting on the program was really easy. Everything is step by step. There's lots and lots of support, both questions answered, motivational content. It's an amazing group of participants with lots and lots of knowledge and resources. And there's both live calls and question and answer calls that are very supportive.
I decided to start this program for 12 months. It's with a group of very nice and dynamic guys that are also practitioners with different professions and from different countries. Well, it's very nice, and we are sharing our experiences and meeting in a group like a ship circle. It's on Zoom, so we are going to know each other. So step by step, I explored different biohacking tools, and on my way of this personal development, I met Volker Schmitz here in Hamburg. He also knows Misha Zakharov, and Volker trained me in many practices with one important core. This is called potato breathing, and yes, you can look for it. It's in short terms, it's like a process of optimizing breathing, and it has a lot of effects of both on the physical and mental level, and it helped me a lot. So Volker told me about Misha Zakharov, and I found out that Misha created a holistic protocol with potato breathing in the core, but
since beginning Misha's course, I've noticed some quite profound changes in my health. The first being that I used to wake up every morning with slight stomach pains, and that's stopped completely. The second being that I used to find certain textures of clothing incredibly irritating, to the degree that I'd stopped wearing certain clothes completely because it was just so annoying. And now I can wear any clothes I like, and that I never really thought that would reverse so quickly. The other thing I've noticed is that I'm getting up much earlier and much more easily, because I used to oversleep by about maybe 2 hours every morning, and that's quite easy to do when you're self-employed. So that's been really helpful. And
what really stands out in this approach are his enthusiasm, his knowledge, and the way he makes sure that you don't fall off the wagon. Every day of the week there's interaction, and that really works via diverse media like audio, like video, text and tests, Q&As. Every morning he does a morning live on Facebook, and we even have Zoom sessions once a week with the whole group. In my practice, in my work, I see that it's very difficult for people to take responsibility for their own health. I think it's a choice that you have to make, but it's not easy. But with Misha's program, your chances will get a lot better.
Number one, the ketogenic diet, a switch to a ketogenic diet and ultimately a carnivore diet has had the most noticeable impact on my health and energy from joining the program. It was kind of tough at first. There was a week where I didn't feel right. I wasn't sleeping right. But once I got through that adaptation phase, my sleep became much more stable. My energy became much more stable. and I just felt my body felt better. Things just seemed to be. I seemed to bounce back from insults to my health much more quickly, and yeah, that's what I'd say. That's what I noticed. The other aspects of lifestyle that were very impactful. I think the biggest thing that's been holding me back from making significant health progress is not waking up early in the morning. That's always been a problem for me, oversleeping. And when I oversleep, I always have bad dreams and I hyperventilate in the morning.
The program is well thought. It's complex, really well designed. It's connecting all the dots from diet, exercises, breathing exercises. We have daily sessions of Q&As. We have support of the group. You're not alone. That's the best part for me.
I've been following his unique course since 3 months now, and I love his personal approach to all the group members very much.
I think he's an example of when I've heard the saying, really, will those of you who say this can't be done, will you please get out of the way of the people doing it? Well, he's one of those people. So when eventually this year he offered a course for metabolic health in English, I was there in the queue ready for it, because I already know about the breathing aspect, and I also know something of structural physical aspects. I had to do some postural alignment work because I was getting such backache that I couldn't breathe properly. But he has other aspects as well, nutrition being a big one. And I knew at the back of my mind over the last few years, I'd seen from some trusted sources that people who dealt with chronic fatigue, a very large proportion of their clients were or had been vegan or vegetarian, and I had been vegetarian for many years. So that was something eventually I had to look at, and I knew that Misha really looked into nutritional aspects and ketogenic meat eating. So that was something I wanted to look at, and I'd had a go at going into ketosis once in a half-hearted way on my own, and I knew I would need a lot of hand-holding. But he also looks at mental resilience, physical resilience, and immune resilience. So it was the sort of things I was doing, but much broader, much deeper, and he brings into it useful things from martial arts that he's got a lot of experience with. It's been just a really good experience. He has, he'll have an angle on anything from top to bottom of the body, anything to do with health, natural health. So it could be, he'll give you some exercises on your eyes to improve vision. You can recommend the best type of barefoot sandals to wear, all sorts. But it's the program, as he says, he nudges us along. We hear him live 6 times a week. Some of them interactive, some of them Q&A, some of them videos, and also some audios and recordings on the app. So we hear from him many times a week, often quite short, bite-sized, maybe 20 minutes or less, longer for the Q&A and the other interactions. And it just is fantastic information, as I say, broader and more deep than anything I had before. So the process is brilliant, and I'm so pleased that it's going to be for a year. I'm very curious to see where I'm going to be in a year's time. I feel I may be on the verge of just taking off. And it's a very nice online supportive community as well. Everybody is sort of clued up in that group on natural health. So we have a group of people who are researching and coming with their own stories or findings and sharing it with others. It's quite interesting.
In the 4 months I've been working this program, I have gotten quite a few results. My weight is back down to where it was in my 20s, and stable. My blood work, I did a full blood workup after 3 months, and my liver values were cut in half. It's really good. My physician and I have been struggling with those for 2 years without much change. My testosterone has been low for my sex and age group, and it's a really important thing for energy and fatigue. And my testosterone had hit normal values after 3 months on this program. My control pulse, which is a Buteyko term and a very good indicator of health, has doubled in the 4 months I've been on the program, and that is after being at the same level for a year in spite of daily practice. So I practice Buteyko every day, 3-4 times a day, just to stay at the same level and keep the level of health I had achieved for 1 year or more than 1 year. And when I started this program, I started incrementally improving. And now I've doubled my control pulse, and it's incredible. And it feels really incredible. I'm starting to tolerate more activity without symptoms kicking off, which means that instead of focusing on keeping me where I am, I can start to increase my activity, increase physical training, and start a process of rehabilitation now. So me and my physician and my physical therapist are gently starting that phase of my process, which is really, really good. Another result is sleep, and that's a big one. Not getting sleep that leads to recovery, waking up more tired than when I went to bed, was the state of me for at least 2, maybe 2.5 years. And that's one of the first things that fell into place with this protocol. So that now when I sleep, I actually recover and I get up. I went to bed the day before. And the cumulative effect of this is huge, and it's a big thing for somebody with my diagnosis. So that's maybe the one, if there's one thing, lifestyle change that I would point to that has been crucial for me. It's fixing sleep. Today's state of health means that I'm able to take care of myself, take care of my family, and there's some realistic hope for the future in terms of my illness, that this is actually moving forward in a direction where I'm measurably improving, and I see no reason why that should end. It's a slow process, but it's any improvement is good with this diagnosis and where I came from. So overall, my experience with this program is very positive. Both the teaching part and the coaching part is very good. There's new knowledge introduced every week, and it's shaped in a way that where I both get to deeply understand the physiology and the evidence supporting the theory, and there's also always a practice connected to it. So there's a step-by-step life-changing process where I get more and more in control of my own situation and are able to influence and direct my life in a way I wouldn't think possible just a few months ago.
I started this program just in a time, and that was like the moment where I wanted to do something more for my health. And that was when the governments decided the restrictions because of coronavirus. So for me, I reflected about that, and it was an impulse to take my health further in my own hands. And I think we need action in maintaining energy and health, and not restriction and fear. So I really got in a change process in that program, like in a process of now 3 months. I'm in the 4th month now. It means that slowly, with moderation of Misha, I got further. And there's a lot of awareness of the need of relaxation and stability that helps me a lot. So in addition to my skills as a lawyer, I'm now supporting my clients more and more with business coaching, and I am able to, by this training of the Misha-Sakharov protocol, helping more and more with my own skills of being empowered. So in my work, and to be stable and have the energy that I need without getting exhausted for myself.
Every evening I was noticing I was getting depressed by about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Not severely, but enough to make the evenings unpleasant. And by about a week into the course, that had stopped. So that's been really, I didn't think that would reverse so easily. So I really recommend the course to anyone who has had health challenges or wants to supercharge their health.
I fully recommend Misha and this program, not specific to people with specific diseases or problems, but to people who want to take responsibility for their own health instead of taking pills. My advice is to start quick, because I think Misha Sakharov is going to be big in the near future, and now he still has the time to spend on you personally. Thank you, Misha, and your team.
What was so great about Misha's coaching is that he gives you the information and he allows you to make your own decision about what you're going to do. You know, in the past, I think I've been involved in things where you're given the information once and then you're just expected to implement it. You know, it's the onus is on you to just structure yourself to implement it. But what I love about Misha's program is that he gives you the information and then he gives it to you again. And then a little bit later, he gives it to you again in a different way. So he continuously, gently pushes you. I wouldn't say push is the right word, but he gently nudges you into actually implementing the information that he gives you. And that's what I really like, because honestly, I think it takes a long time to change long-standing habits. So you need just kind of a gentle, consistent force, which Misha does perfectly. And I feel consistently inspired to take action rather than pushed. Sort of like, you know, I think it's kind of like having a caring, loving parent that he's willing to stick with you as long as you need until you get it.
It's like being on a passenger's seat and you don't have to think about, what's next.
In my view, Misha's non-pharmacological and integrative metabolic health program is groundbreaking and a turning point in the cancer treatment. As a Buteco specialist, I'm very grateful to him that I was allowed to take his course to get all information and knowledge of his metabolic health program. What I appreciate very much in his course is Misha's positive way of coaching of all members of the group. In a metaphorical sense, he holds up a mirror to us. We see ourselves with our flaws, and we can really change ourselves for the better.
Yeah, Misha's just great. I've never seen, he talks the talk and he walks the walk. He really does. And you can see he's dedicated everything to helping people with these conditions. And he's let us into his life really as well. He's a great guy. So I just couldn't imagine anyone more dedicated to his clients. So it's just fantastic. I'm just very curious to see where I'm going to be in a little time, in a year or so. I know it's going to take a while as well. My health has been suboptimal, my habits, my lifestyle suboptimal for many years, and I know it's going to take a while to put right. But I'm at the stage where I was thinking this year, do I retire so I can concentrate more on my hobbies? But I'm thinking possibly if I get more energy, I can do both. Now that would be better. So we'll see.
So I would really recommend anybody with my diagnosis with chronic fatigue of any kind to start this program. There are very, very few things that I would recommend after trying a lot of stuff. I wouldn't hesitate at all. This is a very good next step on the way to healing.
Often there are a lot of expectations from the clients if you are professional and working with clients. And in my term, it's like in the economical and also a lot existential process, I have to deal with the conditions and requirements to overcome. And therefore, I am very thankful to Misha, helping me going further and yes, for my own development and transformation, and in accompanying my clients in their process. So another 8 months, I'm really looking forward to. And this is what I can say in short terms. It's from my perspective, as a professional implementing the training, the protocol of Misha Zakharov, I'm recommending this program a lot to help your clients in your profession. And first you have to be in your own power. You have to be empowered and healthy and have your stability to help others and to cope with stress. So that's what I got. And I will say thank you, Misha, for that.
And I'd already been doing Buteyko for 10 years, so that I didn't really think that this course would make such a big difference, but it really has, particularly the way Misha brings lots of different elements together that can help you. And it's also a really friendly group, the way it's organised, and he's a really good teacher, so I definitely recommend it. So thank you, Misha.